Yo, what's good, family? Man, we are at week 10, and I'm getting kind of sad thinking about what this thing is going to end up like. But anyway, man, I just want to appreciate you guys for staying with it, doing your best, when you can. But today and tomorrow's lesson are going to revolve around SBAC type questions, man. And I'm super confident that with everything that you've learned thus far, um, and what you already know, that you'll do amazing if this was actually the test, right? So without further ado, man, let's go ahead and dig right into this thing. This first question says, the weekly milk order from Tranquility Inn includes 40 gallons of low-fat milk. So we're going to write that down. 40 gallons. Oopsies. 40 gallons of low-fat milk and 15 gallons of chocolate milk. What is the ratio, right? Remember we talked about ratio and what we can do with ratios, 2, 2, and 2, and all of that stuff that we talked about kind of in the beginning of the year. What is the ratio of the number of low-fat gallons to chocolate gallons, right? So we have to be able to know, and it's already in order, so it's 40 to 15. But when we look at our responses, they're all reduced, they're all simplified, and that's what Mr. B loves to do. He loves to simplify the math, right? So we have to think about what number can go into both 40 and 15 evenly, right? And that number is, hopefully you guys said 5, right? And so when we do that, we just divide it by 5. Five, right? So we're just going to divide them both by 5, and here we're going to get 3, and here we're going to get 8. And then we look at our response, and then that one is D, right? Okay, so a little math in that, but wasn't too challenging. All we had to do was simplify the situation, all right? So we know that number 1 is D. All right, let's look at number 2. Let's do number 2. A certain map uses a scale of 1 inch equals 25 miles. So we know that 1 inch equals 25 miles. How many miles are represented by 5 inches on a map? So it's 1 to 25, and then there's 5 to, right? So 5 times 25 is, hopefully you guys all said D. 5 times 25 is 125, so that is D. Okay, I don't think I need to write that one down, but 5 times 125 is D. Okay. All right, let's take a look at number 3. A company makes 5 blue cars for every 3 white cars it makes. If the company makes 15 white cars in one day, how many blue cars will it make? All right, so this is another ratio problem. So it says 5 blue cars to 3 white cars. How many cars will it make? So if the company makes 15, so if it makes 15, right? So we're going to do equals over here. Blank 15. Because blue cars comes first. So remember, we divide 3 into 15, and that's going to give us 5. And then we take the 5 and times it by the 5, and that's going to give us 25. Okay? So that is also letter D. It's 25. So we just did a ratio situation. All right? So far, so good. Easy peasy. That's too cheesy. Number 4. A certain map. Nope. Whoa. Did I do this question twice? Wait, did I skip that one? Wait. What's going on? Bloody Mary. Okay, I have to fix that. So disregard that question. We already wrote that in there. Thought that looks kind of weird. So we're going to skip that one and go down to number 5. So I have to fix another question for number 4. So actually, don't even worry about it. Lucky you guys. All right. So when Will B turns 2 revolutions, Will A turns 5 revolutions. Okay? So when Will A turns 40 revolutions, how many revolutions will B turn? What do we think that is? I'm thinking that's another ratio problem, right? So will be the bigger wheel turns twice, the smaller wheel turns 5 times, right? So when the smaller wheel turns 40 times, how many revolutions does wheel B turn? What are we thinking about that? All right, well, let's just write it down. Let's write it down and see. So we have 2 to 5, right? As we read it, 2 to 5 equals blank to, 2 to 5, because wheel B is, this is wheel B, this is wheel A, and then this is 40, right? So again, what we did for that other problem, just like that, right? We take, how many times 5 can fit into 40? 8, very good. And then 8 times 2 is 16. Let's see if we have that answer there. Do we have that answer? And we have that answer. See, it's right there. Can you see? It's letter B. All right, letter B. All right, moving right along, you guys. Number 6. In a scale drawing, 1/2 inch represents 3 feet. If the same scale is used, how many inches will be needed to represent 24 feet? So there's a couple ways you could do this, right? There's a couple ways you could do this. Like 1/2 inch represents 3 feet. So if we did, what do you think? What do you think? Maybe we could do something with the 3 feet and the 24 feet, right? Because the scale drawing, 1/2 of an inch equals 3 feet. So if we did it like this, right? We know there's 24 feet. So we're going to do, what are we going to do? How are we going to do that? How are we going to do that? We're going to do 1/2, right? 1/2. We could do it like this. 1/2, 1/2, 1/2, 1/2. Let's just see. So we know that this is 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. So we got to do one more 1/2. And your guys probably have an easier method to do this. 21. I'm just showing you like 24. Whoopsies, 24. Okay, so we know that this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So what are we thinking with this? This is 4. Is that it? Because what we could have done was we could have took the feet in the feet and then split it in half, right? So 3 fits into 24. How many times? 8. And then 1/2 of 8 is 4. Right? I mean, you know, different ways. So that should be B. And scholars, if it's wrong, let me know. But I think it's B. Oh man, my favorite, huh? You guys remember how much fun we had doing percents? I love it, right? So if we wrote it out as the question, what is 60% of 30, right? So remember how I was teaching you guys in class, like we would have the question mark here, right? What is, so equals, so 60.60 of 30, right? That's the same thing. What is 60% of 30, right? So when you see questions like this, you could just frame it in the way that it's written. What is 60% of 30? And then we could just do that, right? And we know that 3 times 6 is 18, right? And then we have our decimal point with the 2 zeros, so it should be this, right? Maybe. I don't know. What do you guys think? Tell me. You do the math. But I think it's B. I could be wrong, though. I'm trying to incorporate you thinking. So I might be wrong. I might be right. I don't know. All right. Number 8. The vice president of sales took a client out to lunch. Whoa. That's going to be you guys one day. If the lunch was $44 and she gave a 20% tip, How much money did she spend on lunch all together? Right, so let's go ahead and do the math on this, right? Got to do some math on this, guys. I know sometimes we were able to deduce it without doing math, but in this case, we have to do it. So we have $44 that she spent, right? And then she gave a 20% tip. Now remember, right? Remember I talked to you guys about the decimal point being here, right? It's always next to the last digit, no matter where it is, or if it's like cents, but you'll know that. So the decimal point is here, right? And if we move 2 digits this way, right? We move 2 digits this way. That's the first spot here is always 10%. Always 10%, right? And then the second spot is always 1%. So you could find 10% of 44, and that will be 4 4/10, right? So from here, this is 10%, and here's 1%. So we can always find 10% of the number, and this, multiply it by the amount of percent, right? You guys remember me saying that, for those of you listening to my lovely voice right now. And so we know that this is 1%, 10% here, and then another 10%. That's a total of 20%. And then that's going to be 8 8/8, right? So we found 20%, but it asked us how much did she spend on lunch. If it was $44 and she gave a 20% tip, it's not just asking for the 20% tip. It's asking for how much was it in total. So 44 plus 8 8/10, right? 44 and then 8 and 8. That's going to give us 80, and then 8 and 4 is 12. 4 and 1 is 5. $52.80. I think we see that. Haha. Let her see that. I know you guys are laughing at my jokes. You love my jokes. All right. Number 9, family. Number 9, and we are almost done. I am not going to find another picture to post. So I guess you just have to redo that same question and get it right. All right, it says here, if 50% of a number is 20, what is 75% of a number? All right, well, that's pretty, if 50% of a number is 20, then we know that 25% of the number is 10. So they're going in increments of 10. So 75% has to be 15, right? I hope you guys are like, what? Clearly it's not 15, it's 30. 50% of a number is 20. What is 75%? 30, because each number is 10. That was easy. Man, if this was a test, you guys would kick its butt. All right, this is pretty simple, you guys. But the one thing I want you to notice about it is what? Yes, whoever said that, it's simplified. You guys probably didn't say anything. So a couple things we could do. We could multiply straight across and get that big number. Or we could just cross cancel. You guys know I love to cross cancel. So let's go ahead and rewrite it. We got 10 and then 11 times, and then we got 11 and then 12. Cross cancel. Boom, I'm going to get rid of that. Get rid of that. So that means that's 1 there and 1 there. Now, I'm thinking of a number that can go into both 10 and 12 evenly, and that number is very good. 2. Oopsies, 2 fits in a 10 5 times, 2 fits in a 12 6 times, and our final answer is 5/6. And we see 5/6 as letter A, and A. We are done for today, you guys. That was super easy. Tomorrow's is going to be even more easy, right? So just remember that your hard work is paying off, man. I'm grateful for all of you. Keep working hard, keep doing your best, and I will see you on our Zoom meetings. Or actually, I'll see you tomorrow. All right, love you. Bye.